Slow sales, no sales, or big sales? What's going on right now? Hey, it's Don. Let's talk a little bit about sales today, where things are going, what to expect right now, what should be happening for most of you. Now, this week here is when a lot of colleges and schools go back into session right now. Now, most of the colleges around here are back in play. They have limited a lot of the classes that could be done off campus. The rest you have to wear a mask and many other aspects in buildings or even outside at the colleges. So colleges are back in. So a lot of people who are buying a lot of other things now are investing that money instead into college. So sales could be slow for some folks who are selling certain items, clothing, books, and things like that, because the money will be diverted to that. This is a temporary thing. Once school's in, we're into the first, second week of college, your sales should change from that point on. This happens every single year. Every single year, there are certain specific events and dates that you can pretty much track year by year to know exactly what's going to happen. The best way to know is to keep track of this. Write down your totals, write down where the sales were, write down events and the dates that they happen. Just use a simple calendar. You can write down the basic information on there so you always have those sales looking into the future. That way you'll know that, say, the second and third week in August are going back to school times. So if you don't have kids, you're not going to know that. You may not think about that. You may wonder why sales are down. You may worry. It gives you opportunities to do things on those certain weeks ahead of time. Just like Christmas and what's going to be hot and what's not going to be hot. Now, depending on what you're selling, what your store is like, your sales could be booming like ours are, or you could be slow, or there could be no sales. It just depends on what you're selling. If you're not keeping track, you may miss that this is what's going on. You may miss events that are going on. You may lose sales because you're not moving stuff around and doing stuff like that. Many people think you just put the stuff up, it's up, and you don't have to worry about it. There's nothing to market. It's up there for sale at any given time. There's marketing involved. There's looking at sales. There's slow times, what to get up at what specific time. Right now, one of the hottest items we are selling are craft-related art pieces from the Victorian era all the way up to the 1920s. We're selling them like mad. Half of what we've listed in the last 3 weeks, and I'm talking hundreds of items, have already flown off the shelf. These are items at this time of year that crafters buy from us. Tons of crafters come in and flood our store at this time of year. It happens all the time. I always work in die cuts, crafting items, scrap paper, greeting cards, Christmas-related items, and things like that. Heading into this time of year, we get a ton of sales from it. Again, I know what goes on. I know when these folks start to buy from me. Writing this stuff down year after year, we know what's coming in. We know ahead of time what to be prepared for and when to be prepared for it. If you wait till the end to sell Christmas items, just random Christmas items just before Christmas, the chances of a crafter buying those are almost nil. The people who buy this kind of stuff from us in many other categories, it's not just craft supplies, but the people who buy this stuff from us, the Christmas-related stuff, buy it to turn around and either make copies of it and create other pieces of artwork, or to make like recreations of Victorian ornaments, Victorian decorations, and things like that. So they have to have time, months in many cases, to produce these, or have printings done. A lot of what we sell is up in the public domain, so people will buy it, they'll repurpose it for something else, turn it into another piece of artwork, and then they can mass produce it from there. All of this takes time to do, and that is something that they have right now with the pandemic going on. For those sellers who sell books as the majority of their items, you could be slow right now. College books are where most of the money is going to. School books, equipment, PCs, and things like that. Those are hot right now. That's one of the biggest areas right now this time of year. And that's going to continue a little bit because now you're going to have grade school, high school, and other grades coming into play. Whether they're homeschooled or taking remote classes, a lot of the same materials and items are still going to be bought. That could hurt some people's sales, again, depending on what you sell. We've tried to avoid things that will change or be seasonal. We try to stick to things that will sell all year round. It's essential to keep those sales coming in when stuff happens. So you got to look at every aspect of it. And as I said, keep a chart, keep a log. When I worked for big companies, every single company I've ever worked for kept a logbook as well as kept track of sales hour by hour, day by day, year by year. And you could literally look at any sales figure. You could see what happened last week to have some expectations of what's going on. I've talked about this before. We do sales projections as well. A sales projection will kind of give you a guide at the beginning of the month as to where you're going that month. Are you up? Are you down? I know eBay gives you some figures in the hub, but it's basically based on the top 2 categories you sell in. And if you sell in a ton of different categories, the difference between one category and another may just be a small amount of money. So it's skewed figures based on only those 2 categories. So keep track of them on your own as well. Now, we sell on different platforms also, so if you sell on different platforms, you're going to have a whole different structure on what you keep track of to consider whether you're up or down. We look at individual sites we sell on as well as the overall sales for the month, and we do it on a daily basis to track where we are going. It's the only surefire way to find the issues and to fix them as quick as possible. You may not realize something's going on until pretty much the end of the month when you have no time to correct the issue and you realize your sales have tanked the entire month. So you've got to be on this. It's not just let's put everything up and forget about it. You've got to do some routine maintenance to your site. You've got to be moving stuff around. If something isn't moving, you need to go back in and tweak the title a little bit. Maybe you've got the wrong words in there. Maybe your price is off. Maybe your photos are bad. These are ways to fix those sales if you're in the category of slow sales or no sales. Now, a good chunk of folks that I do talk to are having good sales just like us. So again, it just depends on what you're selling. Every store out there will have a different aspect on what's going on. Again, it comes down to what you are selling. If you're selling bad items, you don't have a ton of inventory in certain times of the year, you are going to be hurt, and there will be what people call the summer slowdown. Now, again, I sell collectibles. It doesn't matter what time of year it is for the stuff that we sell. The people don't care. They collect all year round. They don't stop collecting. The stuff we sell is also for people with expendable income. They have extra money to begin with just to be able to spend $100 on a little piece of paper or a film strip or something along that line, or $2,000 on a 45 record. So we have steadily steered our way into those types of categories. For us, the answer is that we have great sales right now. I can't complain at all. Many other people are not having that aspect. They're having slow summer sales. If this is your first year on eBay, don't get discouraged. There are ways to fix those sales. There are things you can do. You can mix up your inventory. You can check your prices. You can rotate stuff in and out of your store. It doesn't mean if it doesn't sell now, you just dump it off either. Now, we keep stuff up all the time now, especially with all the free listings that you get. There's no excuse not to list something other than your time. If you've got good stuff to list that stuff first, and then worry about those extra items that you're not sure on. Bottom line is, though, you need to keep track of it and work your store. Pay attention to what happened last year. Again, first year, keep track right now. Write down your sales figures, write down events, write down if something big happened on a specific day to explain sales. Maybe one day some crafter came in and bought $1,000 worth of stuff and threw your sales all over the place. Write that down. It means next year that may not happen. Your sales could be $1,000 shorter next year at the same time frame. So you write that stuff down and you're going to know what's going on, and it's going to be to your benefit to keep track of that sort of thing. But that's what I have for you today. Hopefully that gave you some ideas and some thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.
with the power to change from man to robot to monster.
Oh, no.
He-Man, He-Man.
He-Man sold separately.
Hi, old friend. Hi.
He-Man, he's your friend?
Friend and ally. He's just kind of weird sometimes.
Oh, in specially marked packages, Man-E-Faces comes with 5 extra weapons. He-Man and Man-E-Faces each sold separately. Part of the Masters of the Universe collection. From Mattel.